Hi, and welcome back to Extraordinary Connection. I am the Reverend Elizabeth Hurd, pastor at Caledonia United Methodist Church in Caledonia, Michigan, and I am so glad you're joining us for a devotional moment today. So today I want to talk about peace and conflict through the lens of pop culture. So I am a huge fan of The Bachelor. I am a proud part of Bachelor Nation. And even if you don't watch the show, I'm sure you're familiar with the concept where a single bachelor or bachelorette goes on television and has men or women compete for their heart. Now, in recent weeks, this show has come under fire for some controversy that's arisen during this past season. I'm going to talk about this controversy with very specific and pointed terms, and I hope you don't tune me out when I do, because the example of Bachelor Nation revolves around the issue of racism within the United States. So like I said, I'm going to be using some very specific, very pointed language. This past year, fans of the franchise began to call out the show for its poor representation of racial diversity. In its 18 years on air, the show has never had a non-white bachelor, and until 2020, there had only ever been one non-white lead in the entire franchise, and that was a Black woman named Rachel Lindsay, who was the Bachelorette. So fans of the show noticed this, and they called on the franchise to make a change. They created the Bachelor Diversity Campaign, which asked for things like a non-white, specifically Black bachelor, diversity consultants on the set, hiring more non-white producers, and equitable screen time for non-white contestants, plus much more. So the franchise, it took one step. It cast a Black bachelor, Matt James, and fans were excited. But then in the middle of this season, things took a step backward. One of the contestants got caught up in a controversy surrounding comments she made in high school and parties she attended in college. And as this controversy came to a head, the host of The Bachelor, Chris Harrison, defended the contestant and in the process deeply disrespected the franchise's first ever Black lead, Rachel Lindsay. So this means that in Bachelor Nation, the conversation about racism and implicit bias arose yet again. And many fans, particularly BIPOC fans or fans of color, noted their disappointment that the franchise didn't do enough. They had cast a Black lead, which was exciting. But in the end, many fans felt like this move was nothing more than a Band-Aid placed over a deeper wound. So, what does The Bachelor and everything that's going on in Bachelor Nation have to do with Jesus and our faith? Well, one of the downfalls of being a pastor is that sometimes you interact with pop culture and you can't help but think about scripture. And as I was reading about the Bachelor Nation controversy, as I was talking about everything going on with the franchise, I kept thinking about this scripture from Matthew 10, verses 34 through 36. Now, in this scripture, Jesus is speaking to his disciples. He's instructing them about who he is and what their job is. And he says to them, "Do not think I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and one's foes will be members of one's own household." Whew, yikes. That is an uncomfortable scripture right there, isn't it? We're hearing Jesus say these words, that he comes to bring division and not peace. And this is so antithetical to our comfortable view of Jesus, is it not? We like to see Jesus as the ultimate peacemaker. He's loving. He does no harm. He says nice and kind things. He reaches out with grace and pulls everyone in. He doesn't rock the boat. He's peaceful. So why, in this set of passages, is Jesus saying he doesn't come to bring peace but division? The world certainly doesn't need any more division. Division, schism, separation, those are all bad things. Conflict is a bad thing. We don't need division, Jesus. We need peace. That's what we need. How dare you say we need division? Well, what Jesus is doing in this passage is challenging the disciples and in turn our notion of peace, our very human notion of peace. Jesus is challenging the idea of what peace looks like and feels like. What Jesus is talking about is not a human understanding of peace, but a divine understanding of peace. He's talking about messianic peace, true peace, healing peace. This sort of peace, Jesus says, comes at the cost of division, because in order to reach this peace, we have to feel conflict, we have to feel affliction, we have to feel pain, we have to see suffering in order to get to this sort of peace. We have to be made uncomfortable and challenged and let ourselves face hard truths and reality. Because when we do, that is how real and lasting peace will be ushered in. Jesus directs us to look beyond the idea that peace comes when we smooth or gloss everything over. Peace does not come by putting a band-aid over a gaping wound. In other words, that's what Jesus is saying. Peace doesn't come with easy fixes or simple solutions. Peace will come when we commit ourselves to the hard work of reckoning with the pain and suffering that we see in the world and truly acknowledging that the world causes harm and has injustice running through it. Jesus' direction is clear and simple. As the people of God, we stand on the side of righteousness, justice, and truth. We stand on the side of God, which means we're going to be separated by those who stand on the side of the world. There is the side of God and there is the side of the world, and there is division between those two things. It is through that division and through that conflict that the truth will be revealed. And it's through that division and that conflict that we realize simple, easy, band-aid-like solutions don't work to heal a wounded world. Band-aids don't fix bullet holes, like Taylor Swift says. Band-aids don't heal deep wounds. They simply cover the problem. And true peace never comes through simply covering a problem, because to get to true peace, we can't cover the problem. We have to fix the problem. Going back to the example of The Bachelor, and this is one example of many that you could probably think of. The band-aid that the franchise gave the fans is casting a Black Bachelor, and it was a good step in the direction of diversity, but it was the only change they made, and it didn't go deep enough to solve the root of the problem. And so now, even though they cast a Black Bachelor, even though they put that band-aid over the franchise, they are reckoning with the fact that in order to truly change, it needs to dig deeper and make more than just surface level changes. And that's what Jesus is saying here. Division forces us to dig deeper and actually work for true solutions to the world's problems. Division is what forces us to look at the truth of a situation and say, oh, that needs to be fixed. And it's through fixing that problem, through recognizing the truth, through seeing that reality, that true peace can be born, because we actually fix the problem. True peace requires more than band-aids. It requires more than hugs and smiles and heartwarming stories. True peace requires us to dig deep, to confront the uncomfortable truths of the world, and be willing to be discomforted and be in the middle of some conflict. That's what true peace requires of us. And that's okay. That is okay. Because we will come to true peace when we face the hard and deep truths and actually work to do something about them. Let this be our prayer for today. Lord, give us the strength to face the hard truths of the world. Give us the strength to stand on the side of righteousness and justice with you. Give us creative spirits to look for more than simple solutions. Give us hands that heal, ears that listen, eyes that see, and hearts that care. Give us the fortitude to be instruments of your peace, true peace, in this world. Amen.